Born fully armored from her father's split skull, Athena arrived in the world ready for battle. Yet her greatest gift to humanity wasn't the spear she carried, but the olive tree she planted. Hello, my darling, and welcome to a video where I create a shrine to Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, strategic warfare, crafts, civilization, and protector of cities. While I craft this shrine, I want to share some of the myths and archetypes represented by this goddess. Let's do some magical crafting. Each month, I create a new shrine and research a new deity to learn more about them, their roles and sacred symbols. As I craft this shrine, I'll share with you what I learned about the deity, and when the shrine is complete, I'll be offering it in my shop so that a devotee of the goddess can own and display it on their altar or in their home. As I'm crafting the shrine to Athena, I'll be adding colors and symbols to represent her. For this shrine, I'm using gray as the main color to honor her famous gray eyes, often described in Homer's epics as gray-eyed Athena. I'm painting a large olive tree across the background, representing her sacred gift to Athens and her role as a bringer of peace and prosperity. I'm adding a small owl charm to the top because that is her sacred bird that represents wisdom and clear sight in darkness. On the sides of the shrine, I'm adding a shield and a spear, her iconic weapons that represent her warrior nature and her role as protector of cities and civilization. The centerpiece statue shows Athena in her classic form, standing tall and dignified in her helmet, with her shield and breastplate adorned with the Gorgon's head. She holds her spear in one hand, ready to defend what matters, with an owl perched nearby, capturing both her martial power and her gifts of peace and civilization. Athena is one of the most complex and revered goddesses in the Greek Pantheon. Daughter of Zeus and the Titaness Metis, her very birth story is extraordinary. When Zeus learned that Metis would bear a child who might surpass him in power, he swallowed his pregnant consort. Later, suffering a tremendous headache, Zeus's skull was split open by Hephaestus, or in some versions Prometheus, and Athena emerged, fully grown and fully armored, shouting a battle cry. This unusual birth from her father's head symbolizes how she embodies both her father's power and authority and her mother's cunning intelligence, combining them into something uniquely her own. Athena's involvement in the famous judgment of Paris reveals much about her character and her approach to power. The story begins at the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, where Eris, goddess of discord, tossed a golden apple inscribed, "For the fairest," among the guests. 3 goddesses claimed the prize: Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. Unable or unwilling to choose between them, Zeus appointed the Trojan prince Paris to judge this divine beauty contest. Each goddess offered Paris a bribe to influence his decision. Hera promised him political power and rule over all of Asia. Aphrodite tempted him with the most beautiful woman in the world as his wife. Athena, true to her nature, offered him wisdom and skill in battle, strategic advantages that would make him an undefeated warrior and brilliant commander. Her offer reflected what she herself valued most: practical knowledge, strategic advantage, and excellence in endeavors requiring both mind and body. Paris, of course, chose Aphrodite's offer, awarding her the golden apple. This decision would lead to Paris abducting Helen, the most beautiful woman who was already married to Menelaus of Sparta, triggering the Trojan War. Having lost the contest, Athena became a fierce enemy of Troy and supporter of the Greeks during the war, particularly guiding heroes like Odysseus and Diomedes, who embodied her values of courage tempered by intelligence. This myth shows several important aspects of Athena's character. First, despite her wisdom, she was not above vanity or competition when her honor was at stake. Second, the bribe she offered wisdom and martial skill rather than sensual pleasure or political power reflected her own values and domains. Third, when slighted, she could be a formidable opponent, pursuing her agenda with strategic persistence. And fourth, she recognized that Paris's choice revealed his character, prioritizing personal desire over wisdom or power, and judged him accordingly. Unlike many goddesses associated primarily with fertility or nature, Athena presides over quintessentially human domains, the intellectual achievements and social structures that define civilization itself. As goddess of wisdom, she represents not abstract philosophical speculation, but practical intelligence and strategic thinking. Her wisdom is applied wisdom, knowledge directed towards solving problems, creating useful things, organizing communities, and ensuring prosperity and security. The symbols associated with Athena reflect her diverse spheres of influence. The owl, particularly the little owl native to Athens, represents her piercing vision that sees clearly even in darkness. The olive tree, which she gifted to Athens during her contest with Poseidon for patronage of the city, symbolizes peace, prosperity, and sustainable civilization. The aegis, her protective shield adorned with the head of Medusa, represents her defensive rather than aggressive approach to warfare. The spear shows her readiness to defend what matters, while her helmet suggests both protection and the disciplined mind. Athena's relationship with Athens, the city named for her and over which she claimed special patronage, illuminates her character. When competing with Poseidon to become the city's patron deity, Athena offered the first olive tree, a gift that provided food, oil for lamps and for cooking, and wood for building, and the foundation for trade and prosperity. This practical, sustainable gift was deemed more valuable than Poseidon's salt spring, or in some versions, the first horse. As patron of Athens, she inspired the remarkable cultural, artistic, and intellectual flourishing that made the city the foundation of Western civilization. The Parthenon, among the most magnificent temples of the ancient world, was dedicated to Athena Parthenos, Athena the Virgin, highlighting her importance to Athenian identity. As a warrior goddess, Athena represents a distinctive approach to conflict. Unlike Ares, who revels in the chaos and bloodshed of battle, Athena embodies strategic warfare, fighting only when necessary, with clear purpose, discipline, and tactical brilliance. She favors intelligence over brute force, defense over aggression, and resolution with minimal casualties. In the Iliad, she supports the more thoughtful Greek heroes and opposes Ares' mindless bloodlust. The aspect of Athena reminds us that true courage includes knowing when to fight and when to seek other solutions. Athena's guidance of heroes appears throughout Greek mythology. She helps Heracles during his labors. She helps Perseus defeat Medusa. She guides Odysseus in his challenges and advises countless other heroes facing difficult tasks. Unlike gods who simply bestow supernatural power, Athena typically provides strategic advice, practical tools, or moments of inspiration that help heroes use their own capabilities more effectively. Her assistance often comes in moments when heroes must overcome challenges through intelligence rather than strength alone. The myth of Arachne demonstrates Athena's complex relationship with human skill, and pride. When the mortal weaver Arachne claimed her work surpassed Athena's and wove a tapestry depicting the god's misdeeds, Athena transformed her into a spider, eternally weaving, but in diminished form. The story has been interpreted various ways, as a caution against hubris, a reflection on the tension between divine and human creativity, or even as showing how skills survive despite punishment. Whatever the interpretation, it shows Athena's insistence on proper respect for divine gifts and the limits of mortal achievement. Athena maintained perpetual virginity, not from prudishness, but as an emblem of her independence and self-sufficiency. Unlike goddesses whose power was connected to fertility or sexual relationships, Athena's power came from her intellect, skill, and her connection to her father Zeus. Her virgin status represented autonomy and freedom from the cycles of nature that governed other female deities. It also allowed her to move freely in traditionally male domains without the complication that sexual relationships might entail in Greek society. As goddess of crafts, Athena presided over weaving, pottery, shipbuilding, metalwork, and other skilled trades. She invented the flute, the trumpet, the earthenware pot, the plow, the rake, the ox yoke, the horse bridle, the chariot, and the ship. Tools and technologies that advanced human civilization. Her association with both masculine crafts like metalwork and feminine arts like weaving shows how she transcended gender categories, honoring all forms of skilled creation. Artisans and craftspeople would seek her blessing and guidance for their work. The Pantheon, Athens' most important festival, honored Athena with athletic competitions, musical contests, and a magnificent procession to the Acropolis. The highlight was the presentation of a newly woven peplos, or robe, to dress the ancient wooden cult statue of Athena Polias. Created by selected young women of the city, this gift represented the community's collective skill offered to their divine patron. Every 4 years, the greater Pantheon attracted visitors from throughout the Greek world, showcasing Athens' cultural achievements under Athena's guidance. What I find most compelling about Athena is how she represents the integration of seemingly opposite qualities, wisdom and warfare, masculine and feminine, invention and tradition, divine power, but human striving. She shows that strength needn't come at the expense of intelligence, and that prowess in traditionally male domains doesn't require rejecting feminine virtues, and that divine wisdom can work through human hands to create practical solutions to earthly problems. While most goddesses were defined by their relationship to men, Athena carved out her own path, becoming the only deity who could move seamlessly between the battlefield, the workshop, and the halls of power. For those drawn to work with Athena today, she offers guidance in developing strategic thinking, approaching conflicts intelligently, mastering skills and crafts, building sustainable communities, and finding the courage to protect what matters without resorting to needless aggression. Her energy supports those facing intellectual challenges, learning new skills, creating through various media, or seeking to build harmonious community structures. Appropriate offerings to Athena might include olive oil, handcrafted items that showcase skill, written works that required thought and planning, or items depicting owls or olive branches. Working with her might involve dedicating time to learning new skills, creating civic improvements in your community, or developing strategic approaches to life's challenges. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of Athena. If you're interested in adding this shrine to your sacred space, you'll find it available in my shop. Until next time, may you find the perfect balance of wisdom, skill, and protective courage that Athena has embodied for thousands of years.